What is your position, Mr. McKinney?
Are you talking occupation?
No, what's your position with regard to this case to the court?
Oh, I'm just trying to get legitimation. I also I understand my parenting plan was custody, physical custody of Ryder, by myself and all of that, and no joint custody. But I honestly want to do 50-50.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm confused. Your plan is no joint custody.
No. My plan is to get joint custody. My plan is to do 50-50 with legitimation and all. Insurance, schooling, anything that provides to a Ryder, I want to do 50-50. I'm also enlisting in the military. So insurance, pay, everything will be honestly handled. I have a few
okay, wait a minute. I'm confused.
Things I would like to
wait a minute. No. You want the child to be legitimated.
Correct.
And you want 50-50. What do you mean 50-50 split and fee? 50-50 custody.
Joint custody on both. That's physical.
Joint custody as a legal custody or joint physical custody?
Both.
Mr. McKinney, did you just tell me you're about to join the Army?
Yes, I'm joining the military. I'm going to be stationed off, and my dependent, which is Ryder, he can be stationed, with me when it's my time to, get him. He can be
McKinney. Let's be real.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No. That doesn't even make sense. You can't be in the military and have 50-50 custody. What is it going to be, flying from 1 week to the next week home to Georgia and flying the next week wherever you're stationed and switch schools in the middle of it?
No, not at all. He would go to school with the defendant, and after the schooling, he would come with me. And
that's not 50-50. Okay, maybe that's what it is. Because your definition of 50-50 must be, you need to explain that to me, because my definition of 50-50 is when people are trying to do 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 month on, 1 week, 1 month on. Your 50-50 means what? Because clearly you're not talking about
6 months.
Huh?
6 months, 6 months.
No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm not splitting a kid's schooling, depending on where you are. That's not, I just don't even want to waste anybody's time to even have a hearing on that, right? Because that's just not going to happen. Okay. There's no way I'm going to split. You're military. There's no way this kid is going to be split with you. Okay. That's just not going to happen. I don't, you're a great person. Seems like it. I don't know, but I know I'm not going to have a kid spending half the year in one school and half the year in another school to meet a parental's feelings. No, that kid deserves to have some stability.
Absolutely. And that's what I was referring to. He would go to school, with the defendant. And then after schooling, he would simply come with me and we can have our time.
You do know schooling is more than 6 months, right? School is a 9 to 10 month venture every year.
Yes, that is correct.
Then that's not a 50-50. So you've already broken 50-50 mode, because 50-50 would be 50% of the time of the year with you, 50 with her. But you can't do that if you're in the military. That's not going to happen. And you're not going to do schooling, because schooling is more than 50-50. To be in one school district, he would need to be here 10 months out of the year, which means you're already at 80-20 at minimum. You're already at 80-20.
I mean, yeah, that's correct. But I honestly didn't want to take him, from the defendant. And I honestly want both parties to be in, the child's life. I just want to do.
You can't be doing it where the military is not going to be able. I thank you for your desire to serve, but you cannot be in the military with a split custody arrangement. Just not going to happen. Okay. Now, is your idea that the child comes with you and you want full custody? Oh, that might be a consideration, perhaps. I don't know what this case is about with regard to whether or not that was something that you considered doing. But I do know you're not going to split it with you going to the military. So that's just out.
That was my my initial, plan and my initial parenting plan. But I just wanted to do, I guess what's fair, for between both parents. I don't want to step on, her toes, and I don't want to step on my toes. I don't want her to step on my toes. I just want what's best for Ryder, and that's his mom and his dad in his life, and however way we can work that out and just handle that. That's what I'm all for. But my plan was to never take Ryder from her. I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? But if that's my only way to, get my child, then I guess I have no choice. But that wasn't my initial, doing. I honestly didn't want to do that. But if I have to, I will.
You won't be doing that. You know why? Because you're not even ready for, you're telling me you want me to give you sole custody. You're about to go in the military. We don't know where you're going. We don't know how you're going. We don't know anything about your circumstances. Why would I give you full custody? Seriously, if you're not going to go in the military, that's one thing. But how am I even supposed to have or start a hearing with everything literally suggested? It's all, you don't even know where you're going to be. I can't even tell you how to split custody. I can't even tell you when the kid's going to fly from one place to the next. I don't know how much it's going to be. There's no way I can do that. Not now.
Absolutely. But I was going to be stationed, stationed out. And
where are you going to be stationed? Where?
I will be stationed in Charleston, South Carolina for the unit I want to go in. I want to be well, I don't want to. I am going to be maritime enforcement specialist. It's a police officer, and I will be stationed there.
And what are your hours?
I'm sorry.
What will be your work hours?
I'm not really sure at this particular moment, but I know that where I will be stationed, I will have housing. Ryder will have housing, daycare, anything that he wants. He will have benefits as well. He will get paid $324.90 every single month. And that's not even including, from my benefits. That's just his benefits. He gets to travel. He get travel opportunities, healthcare, you name it. So I honestly just want to take care of my child. That's really it. I just, want to take care of my child. If we've got to split payments, or if daycare, anything like that, medical, anything, extracurricular activities, anything, we could split down the middle, 50-50. She has her newborn that she has to deal with as well, and I just have Ryder, and I'm actually getting married in 2 months, so I have to worry about. I'm dealing with that as well. I'm dealing with getting married. I'm dealing with military, and I'm of course trying to get my son. So I'm just missing Ryder. I have everything, in suit. I mean, even now I have my own place. I have my own vehicle. I have dental, medical, and vision for Ryder at this very moment. I've been very independent, and it kind of shows. I was told I had to, switch this case to DeKalb because the defendant moved to a Dunwoody apartment. I went to the apartment. It was said that she didn't live there, and on her paperwork that she filed with the court, it says 724 Steffi Court, and that's Gwinnett, which I had to do the run around and get cases transferred here, there, everywhere, and we could have stayed in Gwinnett and Ben got this over with. So I just feel like, if I can get my child, that's all I want. However I can get my child, that's all I want. I don't want to pay child support. No, I don't want to pay that at all. Why? Because I want to benefit my child, and my child is already getting $325 a month. And that's not even including what I'm going to put into his trust. So I I don't really understand. But also I understand that I haven't seen Ryder in 6 to 7 months, and the defendant been paying, everything, daycare and all of that. That's fine and dandy. But I was willing to help and was actually paying for the daycare as well until the defendant stripped, me from seeing Ryder. Everything was perfect. I'm not gonna lie. Everything was good. I was seeing Ryder when I wanted, anytime I wanted. We would call. Sometimes we would have mishaps. Dealing with clothes and meeting spots and being on time and stuff like that. And actually the daycare that he was in, and she switched him from that one to the prior one that he was at, but he's at a new one now. And I've been there one time, and that was due to the defendant not answering the phone. And they stated they called her 6 to 8 times and she didn't answer. She don't know what's going on. And this is the first time I've ever been to the daycare. So I was like, okay, I'm on my way, and
Mr.
to find out
McKinney,
that,
I'm sorry, I'm Miss McKinney. I don't know exactly where we're going here. Let me just ask you, what do you want so we can move on? Okay, because I've already told you that giving you custody with you going in the military is a no right now, because it's too speculative, and I'm not uprooting a child's life because you want to come get him and take him to the military. That's not happening. So what is the alternative? What else would you want the court to consider? Because sole custody in the military, with you getting married, and that's just not happening right now.
I want visitation. I want to be able to see my child how I used to be able to see my child. I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue with the defendant. I want everything to be good. I want her to take care of her business. I want to take care of my business. I want her to handle her child. I want to handle our child. I don't want any turmoil at all. I am willing to take care of Ryder's school. Since I can't have custody of Ryder, I am willing to take care of Ryder's school. If Ryder need anything with schooling or anything like that taken care of, I'm the person for it. I can definitely take care of that. He can see me, I guess we can get some weekends going. That'll be great. But the whole every other day, every other weekend, or every other holiday, or every other birthday, I don't want to be the father that's there every other holiday or every other birthday, because in the military I do have leave. I can simply leave. And I can simply, be there for my child on the holidays, if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, New Year's. I want to be there. And this year, last year I didn't get that. I didn't get the Christmas. I didn't get Thanksgiving. I didn't get October. I didn't get Halloween. I didn't get New Year's. And I honestly missed all of that. So that's what I want. I don't want to pay child support. I want to pay my son. I want to make sure my son is okay. I want to have insurance for my child. I want to be able to, put money in a trust. And I want to be able to give my son $324.90 every single month, accumulating and building equity. And he could be good with whatever he want to do in life, and he'll be stable. That's all I want. I just want my child stable. I want my child.
Okay, so visitation, because you won't, that the child support situation won't happen. You will pay child support, because that's how the state of Georgia requires. And you can't give a kid money and tell him to take care of himself. I mean, the child has to eat, child has to live, that child has gas, water, light bill, gas money, getting back and forth to school. If you're very interested in taking care of your kid, that's living, that's real life stuff. If you want to put money away for trust funds and things of that nature, I think that's great. You feel free to do it, but it won't be dealing with the child support money. Those funds will go to mother so that she can make sure that your child eats, sleep, drink, have clothes.
Okay, so even with because Ryder would get $324.90. So instead of giving that to Ryder, you guys want to give that to the mother to do, with whatever with.
How old is Ryder? Is
He's
he
3
like
years old? He's
you
going
want
on
to give a 3-year-old
Judge, I think
$224.90 to do it with as he will?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I would rather put that money into a trust fund so he can build equity. And also,
and who's going to pay for his food while the money's building equity?
My monthly checks can make sure Ryder is okay, but if she needs help, she can simply ask. Simply ask me, "Oh, hey, I need
you don't
this.
have to
Hey,
simply ask. You're going to give her the money each month that the state of Georgia's indicated. So that's how that works. All right. What's next? Anything else? So visitation is what you're asking for. How do you anticipate doing that? Are you going to? How long will it be before you move to the move out?
About 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 what? 3 to 4 months.
Yes.
So in the interim, we'll do regular visitation. But when you move from the state of Georgia, what do you anticipate doing then?
I was anticipating to have him stationed where I was. Honestly, that's honestly where I was going to do it.
I get that, but that won't be happening. So what else? What is next?
I guess coming out and just seeing him every birthday, every holiday. If I can get him on the weekend,
you won't get him every holiday.
That'll be great as well. When I'm there,
you won't get him every holiday. It'll alternate.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to do. I don't want, and right in mind, my dad comes to see me like this year, or he's not coming this year, or oh, he's coming this year, but he's not coming next year, or oh yeah, my dad, he can't come to my birthday, this year, but he can come next year. I don't want that at all. I really have a conflict with that. I want to see my son grow. I want to be there for my child.
That's maybe you and Miss O'Connor will have to have discussions as to see how open your relationship will be. But in the interim, if you all do not come to an agreement, this right here is going to be the backup plan that the court is going to create. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
In your honor, if I may,
Campbell, you may proceed at this point.
Judge, first of all, thank you for staying this late and speaking to us, because I can see you've had a very, very long, difficult day. Judge, Ryder is going to be 4 in May. He's been with my client, obviously, since birth. She lives with her mother, and Connor has in a house. Connor has his own room that he shares with his brother, newborn Royal is his name. And Judge, the parties, and we need an hour to get into their tumultuous relationship. My understanding is Ms. Dominique O'Connor has tried to work with Mr. McKinney in the past. They had more or less a semi-formal visitation schedule he was using on and off. She was always encouraging it. He never wanted overnights or never could take overnights because he's told her he was working 7 days a week.
Objection.
If I may continue, Jen.
Yes.
7 days a week as a forklift driver. Said he always had to work. She encouraged them to have overnights. That didn't happen. He, at 2 points during the time she's known him, he's gotten arrested. One time he got arrested at her mother's house when she was living with the mother. Little Ryder was only like 4 or 5 months old, and Mr. McKinney came to the house, and there was a disagreement over some shoes. He's always having an argument about clothes. The mother asked him to leave. My client asked him to leave. He wouldn't leave. He sat outside. And I don't know, Judge, we lost visual. I hope you can still hear me.
I can still hear you. It's just when I drink something, I don't like.
Oh, that's okay, Judge. So, Judge, they asked him to leave, and he sat outside with his hand on the horn of his car, blaring it, and he wouldn't stop. So finally, the mother and my client didn't want a neighborhood ruckus, or they called the police. And the police came, and my client was not going to file a complaint to get him arrested. So the police said, sir, now it's just between you and us. If you stop and leave peacefully, we'll let you go. But he still wouldn't. My understanding is that he got arrested. I don't know if it was criminal trespass or whatever it was. Then he got arrested when he got kicked out of his parents' house. His father and him got in a fight, which I think my client was there and witnessed, so this is not hearsay. There was a knife involved. The police came. There was wounds on both the father and the son. And Mr. McKinney, the plaintiff in this case, got arrested for that. As a result of getting kicked out of his parents' house, he moved in with my client, supposedly just for a couple months at her apartment in Gwinnett County. That turned into another year. He wouldn't leave. So she finally had to leave herself, and she moved in with her mother. So he says he's independent, Judge, but she's trying to help him. Then he moved out, and she didn't know where he left. She currently doesn't even know where he lives. She thinks it might be a condo that he moved in with a new girlfriend in Atlanta. And then, Judge, their informal relationship kind of went south last August when he had his overnight, or he had his daily visitation that he was supposed to pick up little Ryder. And then he texted her and said, I'm going to keep him for a week. And she said, well, no, you can't do that. We got plans. He's got a schedule, etc. And he wouldn't return him. So I believe she got the police involved to turn Ryder back over to her, or he came back and gave the child. I can't remember, but she got the child back and said, with all this acrimony and texts and emails going back and forth, every time he gives the child, he picks up the child, he calls the next day and says, I want those clothes back. She says, well, we'll just exchange the clothes when I see you. I'll give them all back to you clean when I see you, but you don't have to harass me every single day. But that goes on and on. So, Judge, the bottom line is, here we are. She's trying to work with him. She's got a child support case open. She's got a case number. The child is in daycare. It's called a fun timeout. They have been trying to split the money. If Mr. McKinney says that he'll be happy to share in the daycare, Judge, we may ask the court to incorporate Mrs. O'Connor's parenting plan that we filed with the court, and it was one of our exhibits, with the caveat that I think she really doesn't want to have 4 full weeks consecutive in the summer, but she'd like to go 2 and 2 so they can both have vacation. And if Mr. McKinney is going to enlist in the service, which is today's the first day we heard about that, and he has to leave and do boot camp or whatever they do, if he has the first, third, and fifth weekend, he can still have his weekends anytime he can get away from his unit, as long as he gives her some notice that he's coming, because those are still his days. He's not losing any days. He just has to find a way to use them on his own. Maybe he has half the summer and half the holidays and phone visits at any reasonable time. She's willing to do that, Judge. She just wants a schedule. She wants to proceed with her child support case. We believe he makes a lot more money than he's saying in his domestic relations financial affidavit. He said he makes $2,800. And as your honor has noticed, his plan to now use these newfound military benefits that he doesn't even have yet and put those in a trust somehow for Ryder, as the court said, that doesn't get the bills paid. So she's willing to enter an order for legitimation, adopt a parenting plan that she's filed with the court, except for the summers, just try to have 2 weeks in June and 2 weeks in July each. And then if in this order, if we keep daycare, because he'll be in pre-K in August of 2023. So some of that, there might be some before and after care, but whatever there is for before and after care or daycare between now and then, if they can just split it evenly and then keep that outside of daycare, outside of child support, since that money might eventually go away when he's in public school, and let the state handle the child support case by looking at his income through the Department of Labor, and then whatever he ultimately gets in the military. Judge, my client is all for that. She just wants Ryder to continue to have a stable home. And I'll finish with this, Judge, because I know it's late. He is advanced. he's like, she says he's already up to speed or already working with the 4-year-olds. And he's in a school that he knows. He's got a little brother now. They share a room together. He's in a house with his mother who lives there and works at home. She's a tech support person with Kelly Connect it's an Apple product. She works from home, and he has a room with his brother, and he's been there his whole life. And she thinks that's what's in his best interest.
Thank you. So I kind of already indicated the court's position or leaning in this case, and it is what it is. Like there's no way you're going to the military and the court consider sole custody, you changing custody of a 4-year-old that mother has had the entire time. I don't even want to waste our time with it because I'm just not going to do it. It's too speculative. But visitation is another deal. And the court would consider visitation. The court would also consider them being as flexible as they can, so that when Mr. McKinney can leave and come to visit, he can do so. And then when the child is older, then the child will be able to also, depends on where Mr. McKinney is, visit. But it's so speculative. I can't even say, okay, the child will leave the state and go with him. And I don't know, because he might get stationed in Hawaii or get stationed in Washington, and you got a 4-year-old flying across the country. No, and it's just not going to happen because it's just too much information. I don't know. I can't even set up a visit. I can't even set up a plan that way. I'm going to set this plan up just like Ms. McKinney is in Georgia. He'll be here for the next 3 or 4 months. That's the plan I'm going to go with. To the extent that it changes and Mr. Kenny needs to make some changes to it, he'll just have to modify it when those things actually occur. Because I just don't know what else to do in a situation where everything is up in the air. I'm assuming, Mr. McKinney, have you signed and registered like you are going in the military?
I have not signed yet. I have not put my signature on the paper. I wanted to, go through the court process and see what we can do, concerning visitation and stuff like that. But I have spoke to a recruiter and, got all the information that I needed. But no, I have not signed that paper that, hey, you're leaving tomorrow. No, I have not signed that paper. I wanted to, come in court, figure out everything I needed to figure out. And then, hey, it's time to ride, But what I can say is, if I may object, and speak on, some stuff that Mr. Campbell has said.
Depends on what it is, because it may not mean much to me.
I do want to say I'm not a bad person. I've never honked the horn or tried to, get upset or argue with Dominique O'Connor. All I wanted that night, honestly, was my clothes. My clothes that I bought, my clothes that, I got my child. And sometimes, when I do give her clothes, I don't never get them back. So I'm sorry that I wanted, the clothes and stuff like that. And I went to, a matter to get them, but that case was dropped. Again, Ryder was not living with
I don't
the grandmother the whole time.
I don't need to hear that information.
Okay.
That doesn't, based on what I'm going to do, I'm satisfied. I don't need, that does not going to affect one way or the other. We're going to do this. I already indicated I'm going to do regular visitation.
Oh, no, that's fine. I just wanted to clear it up. And I also want to clear up that Dominique O'Connor was actually living together up until 2022 of February. So I don't know why she told Mr. Campbell that they've been living with her mom. She actually moved with her mom because she got in a relationship with her son's father now. So that's the only reason she actually moved out and stuff like that. And plus, of course, we wasn't seeing eye to eye, and stuff and things. But we was living together. Ryder's been up under me since day one. So the whole
Your Honor,
living with 720, living with your mom is false.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And so first, third, fifth weekend, pick him up from school, return him. What's a good location? Are you okay with him coming to the house, or do you want to meet him?
I'm okay with him coming to the house. He knows where my mom's home is.
Okay.
Previously, we were meeting at a racetrack by my apartment in Dunwoody. But I no longer live closer to that location as my lease ended over there. So,
All right.
So the house is fine, Judge. The residence is fine.
All
yeah.
right. Drop off to the house. And you'll do 4 weeks in the summer, 2 in June, 2 in July.
One second. Man, I want to write this down.
Okay, but you'll also get this will be sent to you in writing.
Okay. That's fine.
So 2 in the summer, 2 in excuse me, 2 in June, 2 in July. In the even years, you'll get to select the 2 weeks first, the 2 time frames first. And then in the odd year, Miss Connor gets to select those, her 2 weeks first. So this year she can say, okay, I want July 1st to the 14th. You can choose, that means your July will be from the 14th to the 28th and any time in June, because she'll get 2 weeks to select uninterrupted time in the summer, and you'll get 2 sessions of 2 weeks of uninterrupted time. Okay, in the summer.
Okay. Also,
right.
I have also, if I may speak, I'm okay with doing the school thing. With the paying half, having half or whatever, but I want that to be taken out of the child support. I don't want to pay child support and then have to come back around and pay, another whatever it is, and you already got the money. I can, if we're gonna benefit the child, like, come on, like, pay you child support and then have to pay you again, like, that's not really benefiting the child. That's more of benefiting the defendant.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So
They're just a little unusual. May I?
Sure.
Judge, I don't know how long it takes the child support office to actually get a case going. I know Miss O'Connor's had a case pending for a while. Finally do get it set up and she starts actually getting some deposits. They could end up being, rider could be already 4 by then. All we're asking for sometimes we, and I don't know which way the court prefers it. Sometimes if the parties don't agree, all the elements, daycare, health insurance, and incomes all get put into the child support worksheets. Some attorneys I work with like to keep the daycare out. That way they don't have to do a modification when the child ages out of daycare and that amount is added as sometimes it's $900 a month. They split it both ways. You get a $400 or $500 increase on child support to offset the 50% of the daycare. And that really balloons the child support up. So if you keep it outside of the child support equation and pay it directly to each other, he pays it directly to her or the daycare facility, and it's not an element of child support. When that money goes away, the child support doesn't have to be modified. That's my suggestion in this case, just due to rider's age.
Yeah.
But we'll defer to the court.
Okay, so let me ask Mr. McKinney. So what he's saying is, okay, when I get ready to do child support, when I come up with that basic number, I take into consideration how much money it costs for him to go to daycare, right? And so let's say it's $900 a month. I take that $900 a month and I figure out what percentage of it is yours and what percentage of that 900 is Miss Connor's, okay? Let's say in this case, $600 of it is yours, of the $900 for daycare. All right, that's $600. Then I look at how much it takes to feed him, eat, blah, blah, blah. And let's say that adds another $300. So now your child support is $900, right? All right. So that's because I took daycare into consideration, right? If I didn't take daycare into consideration, your child support would be $300, right? The problem is that right now, if I take it into consideration, when he ages out of daycare in, let's say, another year, you will still be paying $900 even though he's aged out, unless you file some type of modification, which will take forever to try to get you in, blah blah blah. And there might be plenty of months where you're paying this extra $900 because you can't stop it unless the court says it can be stopped. So what Mr. Campbell is saying is, let's not consider the child support. Let's not consider the daycare inside of child support. I will just tell you what your child support number would be, and you would just pay half of the daycare, so that when he ages out, you could start just paying the child support amount instead of the amount that's been ballooned as a result of daycare. Because we don't know how, because I can't take it out without you coming back to court. So it just kind of makes it a simpler process. What do you think about that? Or do you just want to file when necessary?
I personally don't want to I don't want to pay child support and then come back and pay schooling. I want to pay the child support. If I'm paying child support, if it's $300, half of the schooling would be taking out of the child support for the part that I will be paying. That's where I was trying to be at on
what I'm trying to explain to you is that child support, you're gonna pay for schooling. You're correct.
Okay.
It's gonna be a part of the child support amount. Okay. So whatever amount I'm gonna give you while he's in school, let's say while he's in daycare right now, let's say I tell you your child support is going to be $900 a month. 2 years later, even though he's not in daycare, your child support is still going to be $900, because you got to come back to the court, refile all over again, and tell me he's no longer in daycare, so this amount should be as high. But you can't stop paying until I tell you to stop paying. So it might take you a whole year while you're paying more than required, because you got to wait through the whole process. Another possibility is, instead of you paying $900 during a time period where he won't be in daycare, let me put child support at $300 a month, and you pay half of the daycare amount. Okay. So that when he does come out of daycare, you just stop paying daycare, and the $300 a month would continue to be what you would pay. In other words, we're trying to take the child, because childcare is about to fall off very soon. It just prevents you from having that large hike when he's only going to be in childcare for a few more months.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. That's something.
The only problem, Judge, is in this case, Judge, the parties have filed their domestic relations financial affidavits, but Miss O'Connor was expecting to keep her case, the child support case, pending with the state, so she didn't file a counterclaim for it. He didn't ask the court to determine it. If the court does want to enter both orders for child care and child support, we don't have anything from, we have Miss O'Connor's pay stub, but I don't have anything from Mr. McKinney, except his DERFA that says he makes about $2,800 a month. I know he's a forklift driver that works a lot of hours, but I don't know his hourly rate, and he didn't provide anything to make that decision. I got involved in this case, Judge, kind of late. My client was pro se, but she was not that concerned about the actual next 14 years of child support, because she wanted that to go through the state. But I think the parties.
Okay, so you're trying to say what you want them to you want to keep your child support action open to see, so that they can prosecute how much money he actually makes?
Yeah, Judge. And then, yes, Judge. I think that's what my client wanted, Judge. I just didn't know if the court could put in this legitimation order that daycare will be considered separate from child support, and they can divide the actual expense 50-50.
Okay, now I'm looking at this. So you want me to divide daycare 50-50? Okay. When does he turn 5?
He'll be 4 in a couple months, Judge.
He'll be 4 in a couple months. When he's 4, is he going to go to a pre-K, or do you anticipate him staying in a daycare, Ms. O'Connor?
He's gonna go to a pre-K, but the pre-K that he's at, it's private. It's not funded by the government. So I pay, once he turns 4, it'll drop down from $175 to $160 a week. I did try to get him enrolled in a public school, Kids Are Kids, right up by my my home, but their classroom filled up before the February was even, or not even February. Yeah, before February was over with, they filled up for August this year. So where he's at right now, they go on the same curriculum as the school system. So it's just privately owned rather than government funded.
So you'll be paying $650 a month.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So if Mr. Kenny would be paying basically half of that, which would be about $320 per month. All right. And Mr. Campbell, your position is that that's how you want it set up. And then what about the child support amount?
Judge, we can either, I'm sorry, Judge. We could either, we could put in that Mr. McKinney pays as daycare or before and after care, child care, whatever you want to call it, no more than the actual expense, but no more than $320 per month directly to my client, as long as the child is in that program. And then child support will be determined by the state, or Judge, we can try to tackle child support in this case.
May I speak, please?
Yes, Mr. McKinney.
If we're gonna, do the schooling thing, I would love to pay the school. I would not like to pay Miss O'Connor any type of funds. That's not professional. Also, I've actually looked into a daycare. I'm not really sure why she is at that daycare, but if especially if it's not governmented and if it's not under the government, she needs help. She should look into another daycare that's up the street. It's probably like an exit up off of that one that Ryder's currently at is on Jimmy Carter, and the other one is a SNAP daycare, and that covers, it could be funded, through the government, and she wouldn't have to pay nothing for school. He would literally go to school for nothing through the SNAP program.
When I legitimate you can very well discuss that with her, and you all have to have discussions on it, and then come up with the decision as to what would be best for him.
That'd be perfect. Free is always great, right?
Well, not always. You get what you pay for.
Hey, I understand that. I've seen the facility he's at currently.
Okay, so okay, so I think it's best, let's just go ahead and tackle the child support issue now, because I generally will always do that unless they've already done it, and then I may not do it, but I've never just left it for them. Because the truth is, it's coming back to me, because the child support, where is it? It's in DeKalb, right?
It's in Gwinnett.
Oh,
yes.
You lived in Gwinnett for a moment?
Yeah, before I moved to my apartment April last year, that's when I filed. And then when they found out that I lived in DeKalb County during this case, a legitimation case, they transferred everything over, but they kept the child support case in in Gwinnett County.
Yeah, that's right, because he's Mr. McKinney's in Gwinnett.
Right, correct.
No, Judge, I think, Judge, that's probably a much better idea, so we don't have all these open-ended problems. So Judge, Mr. McKinney's the plaintiff, so I guess it would be up to him to show the court and show evidence of what he earns.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. McKinney.
I can do that if you guys want. I don't know who email I was sending to, but my weekly payments, I get $400, but it was like $467 this week.
Yeah, well, it's not what you bring home. It's what they start from. We do gross.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, the gross was like $500, and they took Some change out
Do
of
you
it.
have
So
the,
it
do
was
you
like
have the
467.
pay? Can you send me the pay stub?
Yes, ma'am. I can send it to you. One
Send it to
second.
me. Or can you
Right
share
now.
it? You know how to share it on your screen? Looks like no, you're on the phone.
No, I
All
don't.
right.
I'm on the phone.
Okay, Mr. Love, put your email in the chat so you can share it once you get it.
Yes, yeah.
All right, give me 1 second.
And then that one. And I'm gonna go to the following week. I'm gonna see you guys this week, and the following week and that's March 9th.
Okay, I'm back. Mr. McKinney. All right. Do you have a pay stub?
I could. That's how I get my checks. It's direct deposit. But I could contact my employer, but that's out the way. But I mean, that's how much I get. Honestly, like that's it. That's why I'm listening. That's why I'm going to the military. That's
not what we're trying to ask you is, we understand that that's how much money you get paid. Do they take out? It has payroll. I'm just wondering, do they take out taxes? Do they take out anything that? And where is that stub that you get to show what they took out?
I would honestly have to go online and try to find that and get in contact with my employer. But I got off at 4. Well, the warehouse closed at 4, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But I got about like 500, and it was like 578. And they took the tax out or whatever. But I could honestly email you guys tomorrow if that's the case. But I don't know how that will help today.
Hey, Judge.
Yeah, that would help.
Hey, Judge, I can ask a question.
Yes.
Mr. McKinney, I believe, works as a forklift operator at a warehouse. Is that correct?
That's incorrect. I do not work there.
I'm sorry. Where does this check come from?
It comes from DOCA, USA.
I know, but what employer pays you the payroll?
It's a temp service. It's a temporary service.
All right, so you no longer work at the forklift place?
I no longer work at Carter, sir. Nope. I don't know.
When did you if you don't mind, Judge, when did you leave?
Yes,
Carter?
you may proceed.
When did you leave Carter?
I left Carter's in February. I left Carter's
February's just last month.
February, like last month. But Ryder's insurance and vision and medical is still active for 90 days. So it's okay.
I'm just asking a question. You worked as a forklift operator at Carter's, right?
Yes, that's correct.
How long were you there?
I was there from August 2020 until
last month.
Until this year.
Yeah, last month.
About 3 years. Well, almost 3 years.
Right. And how much were you making per hour?
I was getting $17.50 an hour.
And you were working 7 days a week?
No, I was working 40 hours.
All right, so you're working 40 hours at $17.50.
Yep,
right?
sometimes even 35, to be all of honest, because they would cut ours. They would cut our hours. So
at $17.50 an hour, working there for 3 years, then why did you leave last month after all that time?
Because I am enlisting into the military, and I need to focus on the military. I need to focus on my marriage, and I need to focus on this court case with Ryder and everything else. Like I stated before, his medical, vision, and dental is taken care of. So he still have that, so he can still go right now to.
No, I'm just trying to establish
or medical. So my occupation has nothing to do with Ryder.
Wait, so
he's taken
wait.
care of, and I take care of Ryder. I was actually paying for daycare for Ryder
So
until I was stripped.
So if you could stop 1 minute, wait, I just one question at a time. It's getting late. If you just answer only the question when you come, if you have a chance to, you want to testify, that's up to you. The only question is, you were making $17.50 an hour and you quit the job because you have this case to worry about. You want to sign up for the military, which you told the judge you haven't even done yet. That might be 4 or 5 months. So
I
wait a
said I
minute.
haven't
Wait.
signed the paper. I never said I didn't do what I needed to do to get into the military. I said I haven't signed the paper to go. When I sign the paper, I leave the next day. I don't want to do that until I figure out everything that I need to figure out with this court case and my child.
So when you thought about if you are gonna sign up and go in the military, right? That's a given.
That's correct. That's absolutely.
Right.
That's without a doubt.
So without a doubt, then you're going to the military. So without a doubt, then you checked and know 100% know what they pay you when you start.
Yeah, I will be getting. I will be E1, so I will be getting. I believe I don't have my notes in front of me, but I will be getting close to $1,400 a month, starting out.
And then you have all your housing allowances and food allowances and all that, right?
Yeah, but my dependent, which is Ryder, will have his own pay and his own allowance, which is $324.90 a month.
You said that. You said that.
Yeah.
So you're making this move to make more money in the military, because not make less, right?
I'm making this move to build leadership, integrity, and be a role model for my child.
Okay. Well,
it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with anything that you're stating right now. I want to do what's best for my child. I want Ryder to have somebody to look up to. I want Ryder to be like,
Mr. McKinney, did you just tell us that you're going to enroll in the military and you're only going to get paid $1,300 a month?
Yes, I would start off getting paid $13 or $1,400 a month. Yes, that's correct. That's when I enlist.
That's almost minimum wage.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But it's a ranking thing, and they give me housing and everything. That's why I was saying, with the benefits provided.
What is you said? That's what called a what?
Oh no. I was saying that's why I was saying with the benefits for Ryder. Yeah, I would be getting this pay cut right now. Yes, but my dependent, which is Ryder, will be taken care of with medical, dental, vision, and pay and housing. That's what I was stating. When he get stationed with me, but you guys said you weren't trying to do that, so he will get paid. He will get a $324.90 a month, along with medical, dental, and vision.
Well, sir, I think if you don't mind, in addition to your child support, I think they might give you credit for that $324 if you actually make that part of your child support. How you pay your support is up to you. And if he gets that allowance and you pay it, all we're trying to do right now, and my questions are strictly focused on what your earning capacity is, because you're making decisions unilaterally on what's good for you. We're just trying to figure out what the dollar amount is for your income. So you were making $17.50 an hour, and
Yep.
Now you're going to make maybe less than that, but they're going to give you housing, correct?
Yeah, they will give me housing, give my dependent Ryder benefits.
No, wait, one question at a time. It's yes or no, sir. It's yes or no. They're going to give you housing,
yes.
Correct? All right.
Well, yes. I will be stationed. Yeah, I will get housing
and
yes.
food.
They will feed me. Yes, that's a given. Yes.
Right. So the military benefits are a little different. And I'm sorry, sir, we didn't know until this afternoon that you were planning on going to the military. So
hey, that's a personal matter. That's depending with me. That don't have anything to do with you guys. You are the defendant at all.
Judge, I would suggest we use $17.50 an hour full time, which is just about what my client makes. And Judge,
I wouldn't do that.
And Judge,
I don't have $17.50 an hour. I don't get paid that much. I just showed you my pay slip.
Yeah, but you left the job voluntary.
No, I didn't leave the job voluntary. No,
we just asked you. You said because I wanted to focus on my job. I
was focusing on my job. I missing days focusing on my this whole court case thing. I actually have
Mr. McKinney, you've already testified. Okay.
Yeah.
You said you left the job because you wanted to focus on getting married, going into the military, and this case.
That's correct.
That means you voluntarily left.
No, he asked me my reason. He asked what, like, why am I leaving? Why am I trying to go and listen to the military? And I gave him
That's
that.
not what he asked you.
He
That
didn't.
is not
He
what he
never
asked
asked if I quit. He never asked if I was fired. That wasn't the question.
He asked you, why did you leave?
I left because I was fired. I was let go.
Yeah, but that's not what you said, though.
Yeah, I was dealing with the court case. I left work to come here.
It doesn't matter if you were fired or voluntarily left. I still impute you, so it doesn't really matter.
And Judge, even if you do that, Judge, that only both of their incomes come out to just over $3,000 a month. She makes $17.50 an hour. He was making $17.50 an hour. That's a modest income for people with their skills, but they've got a child to support, Judge. So I would ask the court to impute. She can testify, Judge, but I've included in the documents we sent over to the court her pay stub. She makes $17.85 an hour. That's just about what he said he made, $17.50 an hour. And Judge, if you add the daycare, which I think she said was $175 a week, that comes out to I think that's $758 per month, Judge. And I believe that they both testified the health insurance is already covered. So
yeah, I think he said he covered health insurance.
Yeah, I think they have well, health insurance, I think he said will be covered in the military, but now his new job that he just quit. Miss O'Connor, do you have health insurance through Peach Care?
Yes, he's had Medicaid since he was born. So his insurance has always been free. Any plan that Aaron purchased or has through his job, I've never heard about up until last month.
So Judge, we would just ask for the daycare element and the income element. We don't need to include any health insurance portion.
Okay. Okay, so you're based on your position, child support would be $758.
Judge, no, $758 was the daycare element, and their income's both right at $3,000 a month. So I don't have a worksheet prepared because I wasn't sure.
Okay, so $758 per month is for daycare.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be real close to 50% each. So if we have $3,000 each for income, I don't have a worksheet in front of me, but I could get an idea.
All right, Mr. Love, can you do that? Plug in 3,000 for each of them. Daycare for mom at $758.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sharing my screen with the child support worksheet.
Okay. So child support for Mr. McKinney would be $525.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
And Your Honor, that's both with $3,000 annually. Well, a month.
And Judge, if okay. Judge, the parenting plan that was submitted as one of respondents' exhibits is very close. The summer probably just needs to be tweaked to fit what Your Honor said, because I think she had it in 1 month blocks, but almost everything else is identical. I can prepare an addendum and a worksheet to this effect. If the court wants to put this in as an exhibit, or just then I could do an order of legitimation and incorporating the child support worksheets addendum in the parenting plan.
Okay.
And Judge, I can try to get that to you by this Friday, since I have a leave all next week.
Okay. I mean, this Friday? Yes, this Friday.
This Friday. Or
Okay.
sooner. I just have court Tuesday and Wednesday, but I'll definitely.
I need it Thursday because I'm gonna be out Friday, so I need to get
Judge, I'll get it to you.
by Thursday.
I'll get it to Mr. Love and Miss Marshall by Thursday.
Okay. All right. Any other matters?
Judge, if Mr. Love could just email a copy of this worksheet to both parties, and myself,
Yes.
so I can incorporate it into an addendum.
Yes.
And Judge, can we have this start on April 1st?
Yes.
And the parenting plan can also go into effect. It's the first, third, and alternating fifth. So
It can start.
It can start right away.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if
I got one more question though. Miss O'Connor, and I know it's getting late. Miss O'Connor, I know for various reasons, I don't know both sides blame the other, but your son knows Mr. McKinney. Is there going to be any problem with him having overnight? But you need to know where he lives. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
So we don't.
But
have
there
an
would be
address.
no issue.
All right. So Judge, we just need an address of where the child's going to be.
Okay.
Then the visitation, drop off, and pick up is at Miss O'Connor's premises, as we've already discussed.
All right, Mr. McKinney, if you would email to Mr. Love your address.
Alrighty, that sounds good. Also, can this come like, the whole weekend, this whole visitation thing, can that come like effective immediately? Because I would love to see my little boy this weekend.
We just said that.
Okay, now you were kind of muffled out. I didn't hear you at all. You were
Yeah,
kind of muffled. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. I said yes. We'll start child support and visitation immediately.
Okay, and I will send out my pay stubs over as well. I can do that for you. Well, I just need to know if I need to.
It's not necessary. I've already imputed you at $1,750.
All right. All right. That's okay. That's fine. But now, is the child support include that? Like, is that included? Is that daycare included? Is that you said the 5? It was like 5. What? 525. Is that included with the daycare? Correct.
Yes. That's the total that you pay monthly.
That's great. That's great. Okay. But I also would like to pay the daycare. I don't want to, have to, do anything financially, with the defendant. I don't find that professional.
Mr. McKinney.
Yes.
The amount of money that you'll pay directly to Ms. O'Connor, the 525, the 5, whatever that number is, that money you'll pay to Ms. Connor. I don't know how something is professional. She's taking care of the child that you all had together. There's no professional, unprofessional. It's a family obligation. So you pay.
I just don't want to give her no. I don't.
Yeah,
you're
gonna give it to her because that's how it works, and you should be appreciative. And I can't imagine you over here talking about it's unprofessional to give the mother of your child, who feeds your child, takes care of your child, warms your child's milk, reads for your child, does your child homework, get your child back and forth to school, and you're concerned about whether or not it's professional to give her money. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I just don't want to have any conflict. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
and you're not going to have
conflict.
conflict. Pay the money on time in a measure in which you can have proof you sent it, and you'll be fine.
Okay. And when does this start?
April 1st. Your first payment will be April 1st.
Okay. I can try, but okay.
Mr. Campbell, how do you wish to for the payment to be made? Cash App? You want to Zelle it? You wanted him to put it in a check?
Miss O'Connor, can you accept money through Zelle?
I cannot. I have Chime. I don't have Cash App any longer. Now I do have a question though, because with me filing through the state, the original child support order, I wanted it collected through the state because of how he feels about paying me directly, to make sure that I don't have to worry
Miss
about
O'Connor, and that'll probably be fine, but until they get started, he needs to get it to you directly.
Okay.
Once they start taking it out, right? Because they don't, in order to go through the state, they need to know where to get it from. And it sounds like he's all over. He might be in the military, he might be here, he might be there. So until they actually can pin him down and get it from his employer, he needs to get it to you directly. So would you like a check, or would you like it through some type of automatic deposit?
I would prefer automatic deposit, just to keep a record of it.
No, but how? So right now, what happens is, once I sign this document, you're going to take this to the state and you're going to tell them, I want you to collect this money. Right? And they'll collect it for you. They'll figure out how to get that money to you through a system. But until that happens, because it could take a few weeks, it could take a few months, it could be a while before they find and pin him down, figure out where he is, so they can collect that money without you having to be involved. Until then, how is he going to pay you?
The only bank account that I have is Chime. If his only means is Cash App, then I can have him send it to my mother and she can just send it to me through Chime. But I can't make a Cash App account.
Do you have a Chime account, Mr. McKinney?
I have a Chime account. Yes, I do. That was a deposit that was sent to you.
Yes. Okay. You will chime the money to Miss O'Connor.
That's fine.
All right. That's perfect. That's perfect. I just didn't want to, be in public, giving money, like all of that. Like I don't want to do that. But deposits, without a doubt, easy.
Okay. All right. That's how we'll do that. Put that as the mechanism. And then the court will allow for her to, of course, not allow, but she can ask the state to enforce it, enforce the judgment that the court is going to sign at this moment.
Okay, then Judge, I'll go ahead and get that to your office by Thursday, and then
all right. I said I was going to end at 6:15, so I got to go.
All right, Judge, thank you for your time.
Thank you.